spin and spin. Big wheel turn around and around. Blame the angels, blame the fates, blame the Jews or your sister Kate. Teach your children who to hate, and the big wheel turn around and around. Little wheel spin and spin. Big wheel turn around and around. Little wheel spin and spin, and the big wheel turn around and around. Turn your back on weeds you've hoed, silly sinful seeds you sowed. Add your straw to the camel's load. Pray like hell when your world explodes. Little wheel spin and spin, and the big wheel turn around and around. Little wheel spin and spin, big wheel turn around and around. Swing your girl, the fiddlers say, later on the piper pay. Do-si-do, swing and sway, dead will dance on Judgment Day. Little wheel spin and spin, big wheel turn around and around. Little wheel spin and spin, big wheel turn around and around. Little wheel spin and spin, big wheel turn around and around. Little wheel spin and spin, big wheel turn around and around. Big wheel turn around and around.
Good morning. My name is Christy Magnuski, and I serve on the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spartanburg. I'm thankful to welcome members, friends, and visitors this morning, whether you are here in person or joining us virtually. This is a welcoming congregation where everyone is welcome just as we each are. Please put your smartphones in airplane mode or turn off Wi-Fi service. This is to avoid interfering with the live video stream, which many of our members and guests depend on. This fall, worship services are scheduled to take place outdoors on the second and third Sundays of each month. This includes the next 2 Sundays, November 14th and November 21, weather permitting. Bring a chair, wear a mask, and join us in the beautiful sacred grove of this church. All services will also be live streamed. In the case of inclement weather, we will move the service indoors and continue to offer live stream as well. And now let me introduce Virginia McLean to share information with us about the auction.
Call on my earring. All right, our church auction will be held November 20th. It's a Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m. and it will be outside in the parking lot area right over here. We will have a fabulous food truck, Sweets on the Run, and if you haven't had their cupcakes, oh, they're amazing. Those items she'll have her food truck here, and those items will be available for purchase. We will also have beer, wine, sodas available. At the event, we will have what we are calling a fishbowl raffle. And so we'll have several items, and you'll purchase raffle tickets and then put whichever tickets you want for whichever items. So if you buy 10 tickets and you are really wanting this one item, put all your tickets in that one item and you have a better chance. We will also have the main event, the auction. And the week leading up to the auction, we will have an online auction. If you have any items that you wish to donate, if you would like to volunteer, or if you have any questions, please see Lee Jenkins or myself. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Someone said, I'm so glad we're having an indoor service this morning. Yeah. We're going to try for 2 more next week and the following, see if we can make it. If not, we'll just come in here. But thank you for being here, those of you that are here. And thank you for joining us virtually, those of you that are joining us virtually. I myself am kind of undecided. It's nice to be warm, and it's lovely to be in this space. But look beyond me out these windows. And let's just stop for a moment. Whatever our spiritualities, whatever our traditions, whatever our metaphysics, and give thanks for those people who, for decades before us, before there was even a church on these grounds, folks in this neighborhood before us, and then those who nurtured this church and the trees around it, and now those who labor in our sacred grove. Let's give thanks for the people who have cultivated this beauty that we are bathed in and enjoy. Just a moment of gratitude for the gift that all of those folks have given us. Some traditions have stained glass windows, and we have trees. You will find at the back of your order of service, and if you're online, you can find it as a link on the YouTube channel, an online order of service. You'll find a report and then some information that I've shared the last several weeks with you. This is regarding the fund to support Latinx immigrants, Hispanic immigrants that we've been a part of for the last more than a year and a half now, throughout the pandemic. And you'll see there information just to update you on what's going on, and in particular, a list of counties that we're trying to reach. If you know anybody in these counties, even if it seems like a stretch to you, who might have connections with immigrants or work with an agency that serves immigrants, who might help us connect with families or individuals who could benefit from the assistance our coalition is helping to offer, not only our congregation, but of which our congregation is a part. Assistance with rent, mortgage, or utilities. Please share this information with them. You can hand it to them. You can take a picture of it and send it to them. The links that are on our website are all virtual forms of this that you can send out. And you'll see that long list of counties. If you know anybody there who might have the slightest interest, please share it with them. But I want to read you a list of just a few of these counties that are our priorities this month. So these are the ones that we really want to push on this month. And you can put a little check beside it if you'd like. Allendale, Bamberg, Barnwell, Chester, Darlington, Dillon, Greenwood, Lee, Marion, Marlborough, Orangeburg, and Williamsburg. We'll publish that list on our closed Facebook page and also in the happenings. But please help us connect. It's working. It's working. We've seen a big surge in requests all across the state as we've shared this message on repeat. So please help us pushing. Just so you understand the scale of what we're a part of, not only us, but the coalition of which we're a part. As of this week, since the start of the pandemic, we have been a part of distributing for rent, mortgage, and utilities for Latinx, Hispanic immigrants, over $222,000 direct assistance. I say that it is not to brag, but to just share with you the scale of what we've been involved in. That's approaching our annual budget as a congregation in scale. In terms of overall resources, a lot of those are grants. But in terms of individual gifts from members of this congregation and from other folks in the community who know about what we're doing and have joined with us, of whom there are many, individual gifts, not grants, but individual gifts to support this have totaled more than $54,000. thank you for all that you are giving to support our neighbors, people on whom we all depend. Thank you. Now, I want to just turn your attention to the back. We have had one magnificent art show from the Mack Collection shared with us, and now it has come down. And we've had an entire theater production from Proud Mary Theater Company in the sanctuary in between. That's how we take breaks. We have full-scale theater productions. And now there is a new display of art that I want to invite you to encounter from our own Gary Snipes, a member of this congregation, a physician in our community, a leader of our COVID task force that's done so much to design our protocols and help us serve the community in ways that keep everyone safe and moving together. A really profound member of our congregation. And Gary, as a white man of a certain age and a certain generation, has produced drawings reflecting on the tradition of social justice that we enter into, and particularly on social justice leaders, our forebears, who teach us and lead us still. Gary and his wife Jean have given me permission to share this with you this morning. And I want for you to encounter this art show knowing this additional part of Gary's story. Gary is now on hospice. His health is declining. And this show, work by his hand, is very intentionally a sharing from him with us as his time with us is drawing to a close. The time that Gary and Jean have left is precious, but they would welcome emails or cards from you. And I want to urge you to do that, to share with them. This UU tradition does not have saints. That's not part of our shared worldview, although individuals of us certainly identify with saints. And at the end of the service, we're going to sing a song straight out of our hymnal that for some of us theologically makes no sense at all. And for others of us makes all the sense in the world. That's the space that we hold here. It's a song that is sung, if I understand correctly, and I would be glad to be corrected on this, every year at General Assembly to celebrate UU ministers who have died. And if we can call a minister a saint, you know some ministers and I know a lot. If we can call them saints, then everybody is in, right? Everybody counts. I'm glad somebody does, Jinx. But our practice is to honor one another's lives and support one another's lives to be all that they can be, to draw the fullness of our lives. So that even as our lives draw to a close, the power and depth of what we have to share with each other only becomes more intense. And even after we are gone, that goodness still moves. Thank you for creating that kind of place.
Good morning. Mary Underwood, your worship associate today. As we light the chalice this morning, we are going to read from Jose Marte, I hope I said his name right, from his Simple Verses, which was his last collection of poems prior to his death. Before Dying, I Want to Share is the name of it. Starting us off will be Nefi Aguilar. Did I say your name correctly? Mm-hmm. Good. Who is going to read for us this beautiful poem in the language in which it was written. Afterwards, I will translate for those of us, like myself, that are limited to only one language. So, if you would.
Oh, yes. So from Versos Sencillos by José Martí. Yo soy un hombre sincero, de donde crece la palma, y antes de morirme quiero echar mis versos del alma. Mi verso es de un verde claro y de un carmín encendido. Mi verso es un siervo herido que busca en el monte amparo con los pobres de la tierra. Quiero yo mi suerte echar, el arroyo de la sierra me complace más que el mar.
Thank you, Effie. I am an honest man from where the palm tree grows, and before dying I want to share the verses of my soul. My verse is like green, and it is flaming red. My verse is a wounded deer who seeks refuge on the mountain. With the poor people of the earth, I want to cast my lot. The brook of the mountains gives me more pleasure than the sea. Thank you.
Yesterday, a child came out to wonder, caught a dragonfly inside a jar. Fearful when the sky was full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons, they go round and round, painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. Then the child moved 10 times around the seasons, skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like when you're older must appease him, and promises of someday make his dreams. The seasons, they go round and round, painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. 16 springs and 16 summers gone now. Cartwheels turn to car wheels through the town. They tell him, take your time, it won't be long now, till you drag your feet to slow the circle down. And the seasons, they go round and round, painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. So the years spin by, and now the boy is 20. Those dreams have lost some grandeur coming true. There'll be new dreams, maybe better dreams, and plenty, before the last revolving year is through. blossoms, they go round and round. Painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on a carousel of time. We can return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game. We can return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and round and round in the circle game.
Thank you for lighting the chalice, Christy. I forgot to do that. Now comes the moment when we greet one another. We are going to, as always, be mindful and respectful of whatever other people's needs are in this moment. If you would prefer to not greet people, just stay seated. People can take that as a clue that you don't want to be approached. But if you would like to greet people, now is the time that we do so. And when you hear the music, try to follow the rules and get back to your seats, and we'll go from there. Many people aren't comfortable with touching right now, so please be extra careful to either do a non-touch greeting or make sure people are comfortable with touch. Thank you.
works. I just dress like
Holly Hobby?
all the damn rags that I could find.
Holly Hobby? Yes, they're adorable.
You bought me this dress
Yeah, I like this
when we
one.
lived in the little apartment.
Right? I like this.
Yeah, I do too. I catch it on every damn thing.
I love these things. Not many women look good at them. You pull it off well.
Because I'm a goddamn gypsy draped in a fucking bedsheet.
Yeah. I'm trying to get that bed sheet roll around like two sweaty pigs. But
Chloe, we gotta get you a mask.
yeah,
We should go eat after this because I'm dying.
me too.
Okay.
Here, all I had is like a hush puppy.
Hush, puppy. Did you set the alarm? I didn't feed anybody this morning except Ringo and Matilda. Oh, of course he was.
Hello again. Before we do the covenant, I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that I'm doing a 3-time class on happiness, and it starts next Sunday at 2. Alice is the guru that is in charge of all of the organization and communication, so please reach out to her if you have any questions or needs. But I hope, I just want to make sure everyone knew about it, and I hope whoever feels they would benefit will be there. Now on to our covenant. We do not have a creed. We don't have a particular belief system or dogma that everyone agrees to. Instead, we have a promise that we've made to one another from our hearts. And every week, we work to renew this promise within our own hearts and to one another. So please join me as we read our covenant. Together, we are a people of faith and hope. Together, we covenant to strive to become our better selves, to honor both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to respond to systems of violence and oppression with the power of a love beyond belief. Such a beautiful promise. Now will come the time where we do 2 things. The first is our rippling bowl, our beautiful, sacred ritual where we commune, where we share our joys and we share our sorrows, where we turn them over to the love and care of this community. As you are called to, please come to drop a shell or a stone in the rippling bowl to give over whatever it is you need to get over. And I will put one in for the people who are watching us virtually, one for the joys and one for the sorrows of all of you that are watching virtually. So feel free to energetically send those to me, and I'll put your stone in there for you. While we're up, we'll also be doing the offering. We are a living, breathing organism, and as such, we have to be fed and nurtured in order to grow and thrive. This month, we are doing Share the Plate with an organization. I had their information pulled up. There we go. With an organization called BRUH, or BRUH, I guess you say BRUH. It's BRUH, which actually stands for Brothers Restoring Urban Hope. Is a nonprofit mentoring-based organization that was founded in 2005 by 2 University of South Carolina upstate students, Antonio Boyd and Victor Dura Jr. They noticed that a number of the high school students they were working with lacked a positive racial identity, soft skills, and the social capital that is essential to success in this world. Thus, BRUH was formed to create a community-based and volunteer-led organization committed to exposing students to avenues of success regardless of socioeconomic status, family dynamics, nationality, or any past failures they may have had. Through group mentoring efforts, virtual workshops, trainings, leadership, and spiritual guidance, they encourage and equip youth to discover and develop their unique talents, achieve success in academic and social settings, hopefully helping them to rise above any circumstance that may be detrimental to their becoming a thriving, productive, engaged adult within our community. Half of all loose gifts will be split with bruh today. So please take this time and share your joys and concerns and your gifts. Thank you so much.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
My name is Catherine Faithful. And I'll be leading us in our meditation. Though I'm going to go ahead and change one word in the first portion. I was taught to say, may I, first. We were talking about ourselves. And then switch to you. So we're going to begin by expressing love for ourselves. May I be free of suffering. May I be at peace. May I know the joy of my own true nature. May I be healed. May I be the source of healing for all others. May I know love. When we then express love for those for whom we care. May you be free of suffering. May you be at at peace. May you know the joy of your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be a source of healing for all others. May you know love. Then we express love for those who we find difficult in small ways and in large. May you be free of suffering. May you be at peace. May you know the joy of your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be a source of healing for all others. May you know love. And then finally, we express love for all beings. May you be free of suffering. May you be at peace. May you know the joy of your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be a source of healing for all others. May you know love.
You think after all these months I'd know how to put the microphone on, right? May I be well. I feel so thankful for so many leaders in this congregation and the people who support those leaders. Just a sampling that we've seen in this service. Thank you all so much for helping each other. Join me in silence. What is the gift that you have to share? We spent a whole month last month talking about death, time, and mortality. And I'm sorry to tell you that we're not out of it yet. But this isn't to inflict pain or to be morbid. It's that something strange happens when we turn to face the inevitability of our death, of our finitude. We move through these cycles of time Sydney has sung about so beautifully all morning long, spiraling through time until at some point for each of us, time becomes more and more compressed, and the cycles tighten to tighter and tighter circles, the spiral becoming almost a funnel, until it arrives at a point where our time will stop. And as those circles turn, as the spiral moves in tighter and tighter circles, there's a compression, an intensification that happens, where the story of our life takes clearer and clearer shape. The meaning of our relationships and our actions becomes sharper in its outline and its content. What our lives mean, what our lives offer, becomes more and more determined. It intensifies until time runs out. And a question, not the only question, but a question that we can ask is, what will we have done with our time? We're not sure we'll be able to ask the question, what did I do with my time? What will I have done with it? And I've shared with you before, in my own thinking, and it's okay for it not to be anybody else's thinking. I'm pretty used to that, not just here, but in the universe. But in my own thinking, spiritual truth is found at paradox, where things that should not work together somehow connect. And what I have seen in my own small experience is that as life approaches its end, and whatever the cause of that end may be, as time compresses and intensifies, if we will turn to face it the best we're able, however we're able, then that very intensification, that very limitation, the lessening and lessening of time and opportunity, if we turn to face it, somehow a whole field of possibility opens up. And the choices that we make become magnified in importance. I've seen this go really badly. Times that a person has visited a dying relative, and the choice that was made was to share ugly words, mean words, harsh words. And oh man, those words stay with the person who survives for eternity. They can be a knife. I've seen it. But also, when the choices that we make are to care, or to forgive, or to love, to muster whatever there is in us that we deem good by whatever value system, and to share it, the power of that amplifies. What is the gift that you have to share? None of us know what our span of time is. We don't know where we are in the tightening spiral of our lives. We don't know what will happen in the next moment. I could stand in front of you and the next moment be on the floor. We could drive out of this parking lot and one of us never return to the parking lot. We just don't know. So as much as we may want to turn away from it, as frightening as it may be, and it's disturbing for me too. I'm not just doing this to bother you. This is for my benefit as well. As much as we're able to turn to face the reality of our finitude and to allow that compression of our lives, the inevitable ultimate ending of our lives, to charge our lives with meaning. Whether today is our last day or 500 years from now. If that's you, I would love to meet you. Anything in between. If we allow that intensification to open to us this possibility of incredible meaning and impact, then whatever that ultimate end date is, we can choose now that act. We can live our lives as if this is the moment that counts and to offer our very best to the world. Because this could be it. And one day it will be. That is for sure. One day it will be. You read this poem today, read by Nephi and by Mary. It comes from a collection called Simple Verses. And the style of this poet is famous for its apparent simplicity. Just saying something very simple with language that's very clear. But somehow in that simplicity and clarity, an immense amount of meaning. It evokes so much meaning. Jose Marti was a scholar, a philosopher, a poet, and an activist for Cuban independence from the Spanish Empire. He died on the battlefield at 42. He was chased all around Spain and Latin America by the Spanish Empire, even up to New York, because he caused so much trouble with his political thinking. A person trained in the humanities and in law, who put all of that into what he understood to be the just fight for independence and freedom. And in his writing, he wrote about a unified Americas, the two continents striving together against empire, and called out U.S. imperialism as well when he was living in New York. A brave man who knew that his thoughts and actions, the meaning of his life, meant that his life might terminate at any moment. Terminate by lifelong incarceration, being deprived of contact with other people, or terminate by death in war or by execution. That was the risk that he believed he should run to actualize the meaning of his life. And so, before his last great foray to fight for Cuban independence, a foray that ended in failure initially, but that only 7 years later led to the independence of his nation from the Spanish Empire, a success he helped win but did not see. He published this collection of verses. And in it, he says, I have a gift that I want to share. I want to share these verses. I want to share these poems with you. Now, this is a guy who lived across 3 continents, wrestled with the meaning of history, and was an active agent in it. A brave and in some ways reckless man, dedicated to his cause. And he says, before I die, I want to share not my flag, not my bullets, not my political philosophy, but these verses. It seems so weak that of all the gifts he could choose to name, that would be the gift. What is the gift that you have to share? No matter how feeble it may seem, no matter how much the universe and everyone in it seems not to understand? What is that thing that when you know you face death, today or in 500 years, may it be 500, but whenever it is, that is the gift that you want to have given? Marty gave us his poems, his verses. In the context of everything else that he was trying to do, he made sure to offer us those. And a few years later, he died. It all ended. But the intensity of that gift in his life, the compression of its meaning, the simplicity of it, not many words, the basicness of it, very simple images. But nonetheless, this gift from his soul in the intensity of his compressed life opened up into possibility beyond the span of his life. These words that he wrote were put into a song that I would bet all of us have heard, whether we know it or not. A song for his nation's freedom and also for the freedom of people all over the world. A song, if we're lucky enough, we'll hear again here. At the end of this poem, he says, in this poem that I want to share, what I really want to share is my life. And that's the real question here. Whatever that thing is, whatever that act is that we have to give, that gift that we want to offer before our time ends, before we run out of time, what it's really carrying at that level of intensity is us. To give ourselves. Marty giving himself for his people and for a world that he dreamed of, that he never saw come to fruition. He says, this poem of myself, it's like a wounded deer, it seeks refuge. That's how vulnerable he is to what he's giving. He doesn't know that it will find anyone, that it will have meaning for anyone. May die alone on the mountain. But he gives it. He gives it. What is the gift of your life, the gift of yourself, that you would risk on a people who may never recognize it, on a world that may never honor it? But before you die, you will share the gift of your soul, knowing for certain that one day you will no longer be able to give that gift. And knowing for certain that that could be today, and even more likely tomorrow. And I'm sorry to say, but guaranteed in 500 years. What will you give? Our lives spiral in a tightening round. And at some point for each of us, that spiral tightens to nothingness, and we end. The paradox is where we find spiritual truth. And I offer this to you not as a statement of belief and not as anything that I want to insist on for you, and not as a statement of metaphysics. I make no claims. As a statement of observation in this world, as empirical as I'll probably ever be able to get. I have seen over and over again that when people choose to give the best of themselves to each other, to share their deepest gifts with each other, to take the moment now to give themselves when their life ends and their physical lives are through, as happens for us all. Those acts of goodness and justice and beauty and care, those acts of our very best selves, have a strange way of suddenly expanding through the world. Stories about those people move among the people who knew them and beyond. Letters that they've written and notes that they've written, scraps of life that they left behind, traces that they didn't even know were important, suddenly amplify in meaning and are passed from hand to hand through a world that they have now left. When we give our very best, when we share our deepest selves, when we offer the work of our hands not knowing that anyone will accept it, when our own lives end as they will. The paradox of our finite lives in this world, I don't speak of another, in this world, is that suddenly that gift moves in an expanding circle beyond anything we will know, but in a way in which we would rejoice if we could.
For all the saints whom from their labors rest, who thee by faith before the world confessed, thy name most holy be forever blessed. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Thou wast their rock, their shelter and their might, their strength and solace in the well-fought fight. Thou in the darkness deep, their one true light. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, blessed communion of the saints divine, we live and struggle, they in glory shine. Yet all are one in thee, for all are thine. Hallelujah, hallelujah. And when the strife is fierce, the conflict long, steals on the ear the distant triumph song. Our hearts are brave again, and arms are strong. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Once again, we'll start by letting Nephi read the verses as they were originally written. Then I will translate.
From versos sencillos. Antes de morirme, quiero echar mis versos del alma. Mi verso es de un verde claro y de un carmín encendido. Mi verso es un ciervo herido que busca en el monte amparo. Con los pobres de la tierra quiero yo mi suerte echar.
Thank you, Nephi, for letting us hear how that was originally supposed to be heard. Before dying, I want to share the verses of my soul. My verse is light green, and it is flaming red. My verse is a wounded deer who seeks refuge on the mountain. With the poor people of the earth, I want to cast my lot.
With the poor people of the earth, I want to cast my lot. You could say, too, I want to share my life. To whom would you give your life?
We have spent time together in these holy moments. Give us strength to go down the winding road until we meet again. We have spent time together, and these holy moments give us strength to go down the winding